Hey, I'm back. I know y'all like, fuck you been. So, hmm, there's been a lot going on. Uh, been still going through this transition and dealing with a lot of things emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, all the leads you can think of. Um, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's all part of the process. That's one thing I'm learning for sure is trust the process. That has been a big theme since probably like very beginning of May for me. Um, Found my notes. So most of us should have been going through a very emotional wave. A lot of ups and downs in the last couple months. Um, for me, I've been doing a lot of healing. Um, it has been very interesting. I'm noticing a huge change in my mindset in a lot of different ways. A lot of the things that I was still dealing with emotionally um, was affecting me in a lot of other ways as well. So we're going to talk about a lot of that. We should have been all going through a very crazy emotional transition. You should be doing a lot of healing when it comes to your inner child, your parents, people around you that were in your childhood. I actually did an assignment that Nina assigned, two assignments actually. One of the assignments that she gave me was a ripples assignment, which is very similar to the source web, kind of, but you go in way more in detail with the ripples assignment. Basically, the way I like to think of it is like, if you ever seen Pocahontas, the scene where she's at the tree talking to Mother Willow, and she was talking about, she put her leaf in the water, and you could see it started off with one thing, and then it just grew and grew and grew and grew. So basically what I did was started way from the beginning. I thought about something that impacted me in a major way, and I just took that thing and I just wrote down everything that spouted from that one thing. But when I tell you, all the people that were involved in all of that and all that stuff, they like, we'll talk about it. Hold on. So let's see what this says first of all. This was during the Saturn retrograde, the new moon in Gemini, and the strawberry moon. The messages that I got through this Saturn retrograde was swimming against the current instead of flowing with it. Be nimble. So I was having like an All American binge. If y'all watch All American, you know a new season was released, so I watched that. And when I tell you I was getting so many spiritual messages from that fucking, that's why I love that show, because I literally be picking up messages from that show. Like everybody has that one show or movie that just does it for them. Like it may not just be one thing, but for me, I kind of look at everything in a spiritual way. So with that show, like it was so much knowledge and things that I had gained from that. But one of the things was swimming against the current instead of going with the flow of the stream. Swimming, being a salmon, this is what they said, you're being a salmon swimming against the current when you should be one of the other fish who is just kind of going with the flow of the water instead of trying to swim against the current. And then he said, but what they don't know is when you get up to the end of the stream, there's a bear waiting for your ass to eat you. That shit goes so deep. But what I learned from that, because I was basically doing the same thing, the message was designed to come out to me when it did, the way it did. So recently I've been struggling because of the new gifts that I have, all this stuff that I've been experiencing. I've basically been fighting change and not even knowing that I'm doing it. Literally, they're trying to change my ancestors, guides, spirits, angels, God, source, whatever you refer to it as. They have been trying to make changes in my life, and they've been telling me consistently that there are changes happening and will be happening. And I'm like, yeah, okay, like, and they just like trying to push these changes on me, and I'm like, nah, bruh, like, and I don't know why I was doing that, but it didn't seem like it was something that I was wanting to do. Like I was being stubborn, and basically telling myself like I didn't want to do something when I'm asking, excuse me, I'm asking for finances to increase. Here's an example. I'm asking for my finances to increase. But then when the opportunities come for me to increase my finances, I don't see it right away, and I kind of turn it down, or I did. I kind of turned it down before really looking into it. Like, wait a minute, didn't I ask them to help me increase my finances, and now I'm mad because they're helping me increase my finances? Like, just the little stuff, just paying attention to the things that you ask for, and then seeing when it comes in, because you expecting it to be one way and it's not supposed to be that way. That was my thing, trying to force things to happen the way I wanted them to happen, and it's not. It's God's will. It's what they have planned for me. It's what they are doing. Granted, yes, you plan your own life. You have control over how your life goes. Absolutely, because not even God can affect free will. However, we all have a specific purpose in the universe, the world, God, whatever, that we are put here to do. They're going to lead us to that thing, no matter if you know it or not. But you can't ask for something, and then when it comes to you, because it's not exactly how you pictured it, you like, nah, that's not what I want. Sometimes the thing that you want will come from the thing that you think you don't want. It's very hard to like put in words, but that was one thing that I was learning. Swimming against the current is not, it's making more work for yourself. You're making it harder for yourself by swimming against the current, when you should be just going with the flow, letting them take control of the situation, knowing that you did the work, knowing that you prayed for it, or that you worked for it, or that you did what you were supposed to do. And just because it doesn't come right when you expect it to come doesn't mean that it's not coming at all. You should still expect greatness, but know that greatness does not come like this. It takes time, effort, work, patience to get to where you're trying to go. My problem was trying to do too many things at once and expecting results to pop up like this, just because I'm putting my hands in this and that and doing all these different things, and I'm expecting fruit right away when fruit don't even grow that fast. If you put a seed in the ground, you think it's that same message. You think that it's gonna just sprout as soon as you put it in the ground and you put some water on it, and you're like, okay, did it grow yet? No, it don't work like that. Everything takes time. Nothing is worth having comes easy, as my grandmother says. But that was just one of those hard lessons, because I'm so fucking stubborn and I'm so picky about how things should be, but it don't always have to be that way. Oh yeah. Also, being more realistic about my goals. Writing down things that I want to complete, 5 years, short-term goals, long-term goals, things that I can complete step by step. My problem, like I said, was trying to do everything at once, trying to start this over here and then do this over here and then do this over here a little bit on this day, and then going to work and then coming home and then being a wife and then, going over out of town and doing so and so. And I got all this stuff going on and I'm overwhelmed, and I'm wondering why I'm overwhelmed, because I got my hands in too many pots. Yes, it's great, and that is one of the ways to become wealthy physically, or in this realm, to have multiple streams of income, which is basically what I was trying to achieve, which I did achieve it. But in the process, I stressed myself the fuck out, because I'm stretching myself too thin, putting myself in too many areas at once instead of completing things a step by step. I had a whole list of things that was just in my head, instead of sitting down and writing it down. Okay, this is what I need to complete. This is how I need to complete it. This is the order that I need to complete it in. when you take that time to actually mark everything down, make it plain, put it down on paper instead of sitting there stressing yourself out and trying to tell yourself, like me, all day, all I hear myself say is, I need to, 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 I need to. And that shit was driving me bananas. Like, I was literally burning myself out to where I almost had a heat stroke on the way to work because I was doing too much. And it was 95 degrees and it was hot as fuck. Like, and just the heat alone, on top of all the pressure I was feeling, on top of all the stress, I almost passed out at work, just overdoing it. Like, it's okay to put in the work, but you got to know sometimes when to take a step back and rest and allow the universe to do the rest. My problem is I'm trying to get the universe to hurry up, or I'm trying to make the process faster, trying to figure out how I can speed the process up instead of just letting it be where it's supposed to be. But definitely had to learn a little more organization, a little more planning instead of just doing everything on a whim. Like, just trying to, and then accepting everything. Like, literally people, can you do this for me? Can you draw this? Can you paint this? Can you make this logo for me? Can you come over here and do this show? Can you come over here and do, and I'm like, yeah. And then I'm wondering why the fuck I burnt the hell out, because I don't have any energy left. None, not a drop, not a nothing, not at all. And then I'm like, oh, I'm tired. Well, yeah, nigga, you ain't sat down in 2 months. Like, sit the fuck down. And then I'm stressed out because they're forcing me to go on vacation from work. And I'm like, I gotta pay my bills. And they're like, bruh, sit down. Like, you're killing yourself, bro. But that was a hard lesson. Trust me, it was extremely hard. All of this that I'm telling y'all is why I haven't been here, because I've been taking time for me and trying to get my emotions and my life corrected before I get on here and try to tell y'all what to do. Like, it's complicated. Oh, girl, listen. So I told y'all I had no voice growing up. Like, a lot of things happened in my life that kept me from being able to speak up for myself for a good 13 maybe years. After that, it went from nothing at all to cussing everybody out to now I'm trying to find the balance, right? I think I found the balance. Let's just say my throat chakra was extremely active. Especially during that, what was it? The new moon in Gemini. If you don't know Gemini, they're very blunt, extremely. Like, and being in that energy made me literally vocalize everything that I was keeping in, to the point that it was uncontrollable. Like, Nina calls it a POA, my pop-off agent. She was right. It would come out, I would say things, it wasn't mean, it was just because it was disturbing my peace, because somebody would say something or do something that was disturbing my peace. My higher self would intervene and speak for me before I even realized that I had said anything. And then I'm like, oh shit. And then I'm like, well, fuck it. I've already said it now. And I'm actually grateful that I got it off my fucking chest. But the way I had been just way more vocal, way more expressive, instead of keeping things to myself and letting people disturb my peace, I started protecting my peace. And with that, understanding that you don't always got to go off on everybody. And I was actually feeling bad, like, for speaking up for myself. You know how crazy that is, to feel bad for speaking up for yourself? But my wife got me together on that one. She don't have no problem telling people about themselves, but she's also learning the opposite of what I'm learning. So I had to have that conversation with her, and basically she was telling me, like, no, you weren't wrong in what you were saying, and you weren't wrong in how you said it. You just see the bullshit, and because you're working so hard on your higher self and getting in tune with your higher self and balance and working on being a new version of yourself, learning this new version of yourself. Because it disturbed your peace, your higher self just didn't allow it to happen. And I had to learn to let that happen sometimes. It was out of my control because it wasn't supposed to be controlled. Those things happen for a reason. And the reaction to the things that happened as well, deja vu, the reaction to the things that happened as well kind of made me look at myself different, kind of like, well, damn, like, I should have been did that. But let's just say a lot of people had me fucked up and they heard about it. Definitely heard about it. Learning when my plate is full, that's basically what I was telling y'all, as far as just learning to not take everything that's given to me, because my heart is so big and I always want to help everybody. That can be one of my best traits and also one of my worst traits, depending on the situation. Sometimes I help people that shouldn't be helped, don't want to be helped, or are taking advantage of me. And now that I have really gotten in tune with myself, I am able to use my discernment to see through those things more clearly and then speaking on them instead of just kind of like acknowledging it, knowing that, and then just being like, well, whatever, just kind of letting it happen, ignoring my intuition. I started speaking on it, and the reaction has been quite interesting. And then also still, like, even though you can speak on it, sometimes you don't need to speak on it, because sometimes, another thing I was learning too, sometimes when you sit back and you don't say nothing and you just let people talk, they will literally tell on themselves. No lie. You won't ask them to, won't be no type of, you weren't commissioning it. You didn't ask for them to say nothing. They just will tell you what their intentions are or how they feel about certain things and certain people, and you kind of just, good to know. It was interesting. But purging, oh boy, about it, purging, girl. So I told you my throat chakra was open, it was wide open. That was good as far as like being more vocal about being disrespected or being in negative environments. But also, I started being more vocal about things that I was going through internally. And as you guys know, I don't share that much. Like, I tell y'all stuff, like I say all the time, I tell y'all stuff, but I don't really tell y'all shit. But I have started doing the assignments, the ripples, and the other assignment she assigned was a apology letter to yourself, which I've done that before, but in this part of my life, that had a whole different impact on who I was writing to. Last time I wrote to my childhood self. This time I wrote to myself from zero, newborn, all the way up to the end of my 20s. And yeah, it made me realize a lot of shit. And a lot of the people that I was angry with or that I felt hurt me or whatever, I realized their purposes in my life. I realized that everybody has their own story and everything spouts from something else. Like I've been telling y'all, but it's one thing to tell y'all, it's another thing to actually do your own work and like really look in and figure out what habits need to change, what things need to change, what cycles need to be broken. And in doing that, I want to say completely forgave, because I forgave those people for everything, because in my mind now it has a whole different perspective for me. Like everything that those people was doing to me, it made me look at myself differently. It made me look at them differently, not in a bad way. It kind of made me appreciate them because I know that they were put in my life, whether their intentions were bad or the story ended badly. It was for a reason. Everything, even the bad stuff, it all happened for a reason. And literally, when I broke down the reasons pretty much for everything, when they started dropping hell of downloads in me about everything that I've been through and all these certain people and, you know, all these situations, it just made me go like, you know, I ain't even mad at them no more, bro. When you really look back at the situation, like really, really look back, and you look at them from their perspective, you kind of go, well, you know, why am I mad at them? They doing what they were taught. They're doing what they've known their whole life. They're acting as a product of whatever their environment was. How can I be mad at them for doing this or that? Like, and then some of the situations, I'm like, how the fuck can I be mad at them for being a karmic? When it's a karmic, they're teaching you something about you for the most part. A karmic relationship is meant to teach you about yourself. How can I be mad at them for showing me things about me that I need to work on? That doesn't make sense. So I just had a whole new perspective on everything, life in general. Like that 30 light, bro, that shit is real as fuck. That motherfucker's bright as hell too. I'm just going on and on. And then all the people that I included in those ripple assignments and all the healing that I did from all these people that did whatever and said whatever and whatever, those people, like, it seemed like by me doing my healing, it was helping them. Like, granted, you know, forgiveness is for you and healing is for you, but it was like by me doing it on my own, it was almost like it transmuted to them, because all these people suddenly just started reappearing in my life. Like, it may not have been by much, but it was a step, a difference in how I felt about them and maybe how they approached me or whatever. Like, it seemed like by me doing my healing, it changed them. Like, one particular person, I'm not gonna say who that person is, but one particular person I've had the same issue with my entire life. And it seemed like by me doing this introspection and this healing and this deep empathy that I've had for him, and I talked to him and I started expressing gratitude to this person because I saw what they were trying to achieve and what they were doing without telling me what they were doing. It's hard to explain. I really want to tell y'all, but I know that that person would not want me to put their information out. But just know that that person suddenly started doing what I had been so bent on. Like, the thing that they would not do, that person just would not listen for shit. They would not listen to me about anything. But then when I started realizing why, I had a whole new respect for that person. And then the relationship flourished. Like, it started growing from just me doing my work. It helped them without them even, I don't know if maybe they got the download to think about me as well and was doing their healing or on me or whatever, but it just seemed like all these people that I wrote down in this ripple assignment have been like, my energy towards those people is completely different. Like, I can't explain how much that assignment really affected me. And then the fact that they kept showing up, but when they did show up, it was like I wasn't as bothered by their appearance, by their presence as I was before. Like, I don't know. I swallowed my pride on a lot of shit because Leo moon, okay? Yeah, I would be petty in a lot of situations, but after this healing that I've been doing, like, honestly, I just was like, fuck it. You know, you want to like, here's a like. Like, you want to love, I got your love. Like, you want to congratulations, congratulations. Like, and I mean that shit with my whole heart. Happy motherfucking birthday. Like, I don't know. I just don't care anymore to hold grudges, to hold beef, to be bitter about shit when it ain't doing shit but blocking shit from me. Like, why would I keep doing that? Yeah, I'm not gonna go into detail because I actually wrote down how each. It's okay. Becoming more aware of pride. Well, I just said that. So all the way my pride, supporting others, liking posts more. Like, I'm always been a supportive kind of person, but I would kind of pick and choose who I supported, and that's so fucked up. But I've learned my lesson from that, and now I kind of just, I don't know. I support everybody for the most part now. Unless you're doing something fucked up, then I can't support you. But if you got a business or if you got something going on for you that's beautiful, I will congratulate you. I will share it. I will like help in any way that I can. I will offer to do a logo for you. Like, I have no problem supporting people. But the problem was I was bitter because I wasn't getting the support back. But it's crazy that once I got it back and from the right people, my mindset changed completely, because I'm like, the people you want to support you most of the time, well, no, sometimes the people that you want to support you won't. And sometimes it's just because it's you and they don't want to support you and they want to see you down for the rest of your life, or because they're holding some kind of grudge about who you used to be or whatever. Some people just don't want to see you win. And that's real. But there are some people who just don't know how to be supportive, and there are those who just don't. Shit, I don't know how to say it, but fuck support. Like, in general, like, I don't mind supporting others, but if you don't get that much support, it does affect you. I ain't gonna lie and say it don't affect you, but you learn to support yourself. And when you start supporting yourself, other people will support you. If you don't have no confidence in yourself, or you don't believe that you can accomplish anything, then how the fuck do you expect other people to do it? Support yourself. The rest will come. The right people will come into your life. I know they certainly have for me. Can I tell you, in the last, year, I believe, and I've done this five or six fashion shows now with the same group of women. And when I tell you, these are my tribe. Like, this is my, I still like tribe. So this is my tribe. Like, this is the people that, my soul family. Like, these are the people that God personally led me to be a part of my life, to do all the things that I do for other people, for me, to uplift me, to inspire me, to encourage me, to teach me, to enlighten me, to just be there. Gosh dang it. Like, yes, I said gosh dang it. Where did that come from? But those people, I can't tell you how grateful I am. Because when God says he will replace what you've lost tenfold, he's not bullshitting. He's really not. The people that I quote unquote lost or are no longer in my life, they've been the people who have came, I can't say replaced because I don't feel like anybody can be replaced, but the people who came in for, so say we're in a football game. We're in a football game, you got your starters, right? And those people are great. Like, they're probably the best players on your team, but at some point, somebody might get hurt, they get tired, like, whatever. You gotta send in another team. And I feel like that's basically what God did. He took that team out and he replaced them. Well, fuck it, replace seems to be the only word. He replaced them with a better team. Team that's been sitting on the bench waiting on me to put them in the game. They didn't know it, but shit, I fucks with these people. These people, man, I love them. And I'm so grateful for them. Oh yeah. So yeah, I talked about protecting my peace. Yeah, and then that other side of me came out as well, y'all. There's another side of me, and I work very, 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 very hard to keep that other side in the cage for real, because I haven't seen that other side, to be honest. Whenever that other side comes out, I black out. I have no idea what happens when the lights go off, but I know that the impacts are brutal. Um, um, but the other side of me came out. And I think she got tired of being in the cage. So, but I had to learn that she had to be out in those moments. I learned now when to release the beast or the bear. But, oh, honey, I ain't even gonna go into detail because it's negative energy that I don't need. Matter of fact, oh damn, I left it. I don't have my bowl either. Well, I'll say it when y'all leave. But being less judgmental and assumptions of others based on first impressions. I can be a judgmental person, but it's not on purpose. As a Virgo, and I hate to go there because I know how people feel about zodiac signs and using them as an excuse, but it's not really an excuse. This is who I am. We tend to be critical of others. What most people don't understand is the criticism comes because we want you to be a better person. It's not to make you feel bad or to cuss you out or any of that shit. Like the last tarot video I did, when I was yelling and I was like, go outside, that wasn't actual anger. It was frustration because I care so much about y'all's growth and my own growth that when I see somebody who's literally being not ignorant, ignoring the signs, ignoring their intuition, ignoring what's right in front of them, it literally frustrates the shit out of me, especially if I care about you. So it comes off aggressive or critical, but it's actually passion and love. Like, as hard as that is to believe when I'm harsh, it's because I don't have time to beat around the bush. I always used to say, where's the bush? There is no bush. What bush? You just walk, you just go. Like, that was my mindset all my life, and I somehow got away from that, but now I'm back. Look, there's no bush. My criticism comes from love, but I do have a tendency to see. I went from seeing the good in everyone and not seeing the bad to seeing the bad immediately and being like, nope, nah, nope, don't even have time for it, nope. And that it hasn't been me in the ass, because even when I let my guard down after, I'd be like, okay, well, maybe I prejudged. Most of the time, the prejudgment comes back around and it ends up being true. It may be a long time from then or whatever, but most of the time my intuition is right. But I can't just, because I know, I can't be a dick because I know. I still have to treat this person like a human being. I still have to show them the respect that they earned as a human being. Don't mean I gotta be your best friend. Don't mean I gotta give you a big old hug every time I see you, but I could at least be cordial. And I had to learn how to do that. Because you don't know what people go through. You have no idea what is behind the curtains. All you seeing is what's on stage. And if you ever been in a play, there's always a stage manager. There's always a bunch of shit going on in the back behind them curtains. And everybody got one. Be mindful of that. Understand that what somebody presents to you and what you may think you know about them may not always be the truth. There may be truth to it, but don't just assume that without them proving that. If someone shows you who you are, believe them. But if they ain't shown you yet, you just see it or you feel it, it's cool to be cool on them, but don't just like discard them like trash. You feel me? Speaking my mind, I said that already. Girl, you redundant. Suddenly becoming more interested in my job and being more present in the meeting. Oh, honey. So I ain't gonna hold you up either. How long we been on here? Girl, this is the longest video I did. But I don't really particularly care for my job. But recently, because usually when we have like our meetings or whatever, I don't be giving a fuck. I really don't. I care, but I don't. So I show that. Like, I may throw a joke in there every now and then. I may answer a question or two or a few, but for the most part, it don't be worth my energy, so I don't give it none. I give it as much energy as I should. And recently, for some reason, this is that change that they keep trying to make that I keep resisting. We had a meeting, and that particular meeting, I was all in. Like, I had all the information, I had all the answers, I had all the questions, I had everything to say, I had some profound interest. It was the craziest shit. I don't know. I still haven't figured that one out. But I'm pretty sure that they're trying to do something. They're doing some kind of change with me. Excuse me. When it comes to this job, I can't tell y'all exactly what is going on, but I can say that I'm being pushed out. Either out of the position or out of the job. The position seems to be the change that they're trying to make, but I literally have to mentally, emotionally, spiritually prepare just to walk in this place. And it's been draining as fuck just to even be there. But I've been pushing through because God hasn't said move yet. I'll keep wanting to be impulsive and be like, fuck it, I'm done with it. But God hasn't said move yet. That's me swimming against the current. Me trying to get out of someplace that I know I'm not supposed to be. And trying to do the work in order to get where I'm trying to be. But being blocked because it's not time yet. And I just keep trying to force it. And he's like, stop swimming against the current. I'm like, all right. And I have been, within the last couple weeks, even though I still don't like my job, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Babies gotta do what the babies gotta do. But I have been managing to stay pretty positive. My sources, being my angel spirits, guides, God, have basically been making it to where I either don't make it to work and I have no control over it, or I get sick, or something happens to where if I'm not supposed to be there, I won't be there. So that's where the discomfort comes, because I still got to pay bills. And yes, PTO exists, but there's only so much PTO that you can use. My problem is I'm trying to force myself to go somewhere that I already don't like, and that I know is not good for me. Honestly, at all. It's good for my pockets, but it's not good for me spiritually, emotionally, physically. It's just not. And I know that God's gonna move. I'm gonna be good. But I gotta stop fighting the change. Let's see. Yeah. Oh. So then that was another thing too I was having a big problem with. Because before I did the healing and whatnot, I was like, I kept seeing this person's birthday. Like, it's somebody that I don't really think about too much. I kind of just let that go and just moved on with my life. But this person insists on appearing, and not physically, at least I don't think, because motherfuckers be crazy, but this person has been appearing a lot. Birthdays and signs and I'm like, why, Lord? Like, I pray every time this person's birthday comes up. And I'm like, bro, why do you keep bringing this up? I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want nothing. But God just kept showing me visions, kept showing me numbers, kept showing me. I'm like, what? So I asked my wife, and she was like, I was like, I'm moved on from this. Like, and she was like, well, sometimes God will keep reminding you of something as a reference. And I'm like, oh, so it's like a chapter for reference. So what I've learned is the things that you heal from don't necessarily go away. Sometimes it comes up again, not only to test you, but it also is a reference, meaning it's something that it's an example or a situation in your life that you go back to help you get through the next one. It's just like taking a finals exam. When you take your final, you going over in one test everything that you have been studying before the test, before the end of the school year, or the middle, depending on, you know what I mean, the semester. But when you take that test, you have to go back and reference and study the stuff that you learned in the year to pass the test. That's basically what God is doing. Sometimes, well, we already know that the teacher don't talk during the test, right? So sometimes he will remind you of things that you've already been through to show you how to get the right answer. It's just a matter of paying attention and remembering the things that you study and applying them. And then that determines your grade. But you have to remember what you've learned. If you don't, you're going to fail. You're going to take it again and again and again until you get it right. But you have to make sure that you remember those things. Yes. Don't hold on to them. Don't hold a grudge. Don't be bitter about it. Remember it. But remember it for reference. Girl, I don't even know. I just be talking. Change your approach. That's the last one I'm gonna give y'all, and then because this I wrote like 3 pages, but change your approach. So another problem I was having is constantly trying to apply the same methods and the same logic to different situations. Thinking, oh, it worked for me before, worked for me then, worked for me then. No, this is not then. Change your approach. If something is not working because it worked for you before and because it worked for you the last few times in a different chapter of your life, you're trying to use the exact same approach to this method when it's not. Sometimes, yes, use the chapter for reference, but sometimes you have to be willing to change the way you're doing it to get a different result. If you see something that's not working, if you keep doing something the same way and it's just, there's no change, there's no result, there's no nothing, why would you keep doing the same thing? You know what the definition of insanity is? I'm sure you do, but I'm gonna say it for you just in case y'all forgot. The definition of insanity is to keep doing something over, the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If you don't see it change the way you did it the first time and you do that same thing the second time and you do that same thing the third time, why wouldn't you do it differently the 4th time? Stop trying to apply the same method that from an old chapter, from an old version of you, from an old lesson. Okay, just like I said with the chapter, if you're using this chapter for reference, yes, that's okay. But if that result was bad, if you did something in the past, in the past chapter that you're using for reference, if you're using that and you're going back for that reference and you're looking at it and you see that the end result was negative, why would you do the same thing in a different situation that's very similar to this one, or even different from that one? Wouldn't you change the way you did it? What did you learn from that situation is the point. Yes, use the chapter for reference, but what did you learn? That's the knowledge that you should be applying. And if you see that that didn't work that way, try it a different way. And sometimes it don't even work that time, even if you did change the approach. But you have to be consistent. You have to be patient with trust the process. I guess that's the word of the day. Well, no, because I can't do that. Well, I'll figure it out. But for now, I think I'm going to leave it there. And I will see y'all at another date. I'm not sure when yet. But thank you for watching. And I hope you guys have a great day.